How are you all? I hope you all are good. You all are doing very well. So, students, today we are going to start our new chapter, that is the coil and petroleum. Fine. Now, if I ask you that what do you understand by coil and petroleum, or have you ever heard about coil and petroleum, that where you use coil, where do you use petroleum? So, maybe I'll be getting answers that, ma'am, petroleum is used for transportation, coil is used for some different purpose. So, we are having we are using these coil and petroleum in our daily life for different purposes, for transportation, for cooking, or for in industrial uses. So we are using them exactly. Now, students, we are going to start this chapter and we'll see that how coil is formed, how petroleum is going to be formed, and along with that we are going to learn some few things also which are very important for us to know. Okay, so before starting with our session, I would like to introduce myself. That my name is Arushi Sharma, and I'm going to teach you this chapter, that is coil and petroleum. Fine, students. So now starting with the chapter. So it's just that today the topics which we are going to cover up is, you can see that we are going to see that what are the resources. Then after that we'll come to know that what is the what are the natural and man-made resources. Then we'll see that how the natural resources has been classified as inexhaustible or as exhaustible. So what's the difference between these two? So that's how, student, we are going to see all these topics in this session only. Fine. Now you can see here that some of the things are here, like coil is here, petrol is here, and the natural gas is here. Exactly. Now, what the thing, student, that if I ask you where coil is used, where petrol is used, so all such things, students, we call them as fuels. Fine. And what are the fuels? Fuels are something which is giving us energy on burning. Like when we burn those fuels, so on burning of that fuel, we get energy from that in any form. Fine, either it in heat form or in the light form. So that's how we get the energy from that. Okay, but as now we have to discuss about resources, so don't worry about fuels. We'll see that part also. But now starting with the resources. So what are the resources, students? If I ask you that, according to you, what you'll say that what are the resources? So resources is something, students, which you are getting and you are using it and you are getting some benefit from it in any way. For example, right now you want to study this chapter, but you want someone so that you can that person can explain you and you can understand this chapter very well. Fine. So that's a student. For now, I'm teaching you this chapter. I'm explaining things to you. That means I'm a resource that you are using me, you are taking my class and you are getting everything for this chapter, and that's how you are getting benefit of it. So that's how, student, the resources is something you use it and you consume it, and it's just that you get benefit from it. So that we called as the resources. Fine. So now you can see here that resource is something which is a source or supply from which we can benefit in some way, like we are getting benefit from it, so we call it as resources. Fine. But now we are not talking about particularly natural one or the man-made one. Okay, so don't get confused about it. Right now we are just looking about what is the resources. So resources are like which we are using, and it's just that very simple. We are using it, we are consuming it according to our wish, and we are getting benefit from it, and the benefit which is good for us also. Okay, so that's the resources, students. For example, as you can see here, it is the water. So now water is something which we use for our every purpose, like for drinking, for cleaning, for bathing, for cooking. That water is the important thing, not only for human beings but also for plants and animals as well. Exactly. And we getting this water from where? We are getting this water from nature. So that's how, student, we can say that water is the natural resource. But right now we just focus over the resources. That resources, that we are getting this water and we are using this water and we are getting benefit from it. So that's how it is a resource. Same, students, with the fuel. That, as I told you, we get energy from the fuel, so we are using fall fuels for different purposes, like for transportation. If you want to go from one place to another, so how you can travel? So it's just that you are using your transport, and it's just that your transport, for example, your scooter, your bike, they are getting energy from that fuel, and that's how they are able to move. Fine. And you have obviously seen this thing that you have to like refill your bike with fuel, so because if the fuel is not there, so you can't travel, because you are not your bike or your car is not getting energy. Similarly, like you have to take food on the regular basis, because you have to maintain that energy level. If you are not getting food, so that's how you will be getting weak for that. That means food is a kind of fuel for you. So similarly, oil, petrol, diesel, these are the you can say fuel for, or a source of energy for our transport. Fine. So that's how we are using it in the form of the resources only, because we are getting benefit from it. Now it's about forest. So from forest, student, we get wood, food and medicine, pulp, rubber, cotton. It is a home for wildlife, so you can see so many things we are getting from it, and all of is like for good for us. So that is how it is also a resource. Then it is rocks, minerals, soil is used for agriculture purpose. Agriculture, that means when we want food, when we want crops at a large scale, so we have to grow them, and that is still agriculture only. Exactly. So that's how we are using this resource, so, soil for the agriculture purpose. Now you can see animals, we use animals, like we use cows so that we can get milk. We use buffaloes, we use sheep, we use we are using different animals so that we can get different benefits from them. So all such things, students, we are using it, we are consuming them, and we are getting some benefit from them. So that's how we call them as resources. Fine. Okay. Now coming to the type of the resources, that what are the type of the resources. So we are having two type of resources. One is the natural resources, and the another one is the man-made resources. Fine. Now we have to see that what are the types of them. What are the examples, or how we are saying them as natural and man-made. You'll say, ma'am, natural and man-made is something we know already. Like natural is something which is present, like which we are getting from nature, and man-made is something which we are making by our own hands. Okay, that we are having our own creativity in that. So we, that is the man-made resources. Fine. Now if you see here that the types of natural resources, so sun, from sun what we get sunlight. Exactly. So sunlight we are getting from nature, and it's just that, student, that we don't have to do anything for it. It's like we are getting it on regular basis. And this sunlight is used for many processes, like the sunlight is used up by plants for photosynthesis process. Sunlight is used by human body also. Even though everything requires sunlight, if sunlight is not there, so how we are going to survive? Exactly. So the resource is sun, and we are getting sunlight from that resource, and sun is the natural creature only. So that's how we are calling it as natural resources. Forest, we are getting so many things from it. Rock, minerals, animals we are getting from nature, we are not making animals. Exactly. So that's how we can get milk from that, and then other milk products like ghee, butter, cream, ice cream, so we are getting all such things from it. So that's how it is also again a natural resource. Air is again an important thing, students, that we require air for breathing. So that's how. Oil, water, soil, we have already discussed all such things. And students, we are getting the benefit from the natural resources that we are getting from nature directly. We don't have to pay for them. Exactly. Like sun is not coming to you and asking that I want 500 rupees for one day, or it's not like that today I want 1000 rupees. So it's like we are getting it from for free. So you can say that it's a gift of God for us, that we are getting water, sun, air, like free of cost. It's not having any cost. Fine. So that's a, student, natural resources, a kind of gift for us, so that we don't have to pay for it. We just like consuming it according to our condition, according to our needs. So we must preserve them. Okay. And it's just that, student, natural resources are this, but you can see that they are not polluting the environment, they are not polluting the environment. Exactly. But in this case, what happened, that we don't have if I want like today sunlight is only yellow color, you can't alter the light color. Exactly. Soil is there, so you don't you don't have ability of modification. But if we talk about man-made resources, yes, exactly. Man-made resources are those resources which is made up by human only, like artificial one, which we are making by on our hands. Like we are not getting these resources from nature. We are making them, and we are getting benefit from them. That's why we made them in such a way that according to our condition, so that we can satisfy us. For example, you can see so many examples are here: ladders, mug, paper and scissors, and you can see. cans, cap, boxes, TV. So, for example, someone wants small size TV, someone wants big size TV. So, depending upon our condition, that whatever we like, we can take from the man-made resources. That means we are having more options in that. Okay, but yes, like in exhaustible, we are having unlimited amount of resources. So that means it's like we are making it according to our conditions, according to our necessities, so that we are getting benefit of it. So that is the man-made resources, students. Fine. Now, like what happened now? Like if we talk about caps and everything, so it's like we want modification. Someone likes another design and someone likes some another design. So it depends upon our conditions. Fine. So the resources which we are getting from nature and we are getting benefit of it, so we call it as natural resources. And the resources which we are getting from like by which is made up by human beings only, so we call them as man-made resources. Fine. So examples, you can see that so many examples we have studied right now. Okay, now we have to see that what is the classification of natural resources. Okay, so you can see that the resources which we are getting from nature, we call them as natural resources. Fine. But then natural resources has been divided into two parts. Now, two parts how? First is inexhaustible and the another one is the exhaustible. Okay, now if we talk about inexhaustible. So students, if you see the example of inexhaustible, so we are having examples like air, wind, sunlight. So you can see that these all are the resources which we are getting from nature, and it's just that they are present in abundant amount. Like we don't have to worry about them. So that you can say that these are the resources which are not going exhaust at any point of time, so that you are getting benefit of it, and it's like you don't have to worry about it because they are present in unlimited amount, you can say. Okay, that means they are not going to exhaust at any point. Air, wind, sunlight is also one of the resources. Okay, so these are the resources which are present in abundant amount, so that you are getting benefit of it. And it's like you don't have to worry about it. Okay, now you can see that so we are talking about inexhaustible, that we are having unlimited amount of them, so we call them as the inexhaustible resources. Fine. Now coming to the exhaustible resources. So students, you can see like inexhaustible one are those which are present in unlimited amount, but the exhaustible resources are those type of resources which are having very limited amount. Okay, that means if you are using them more and more, and it's like that you are using them like more than requirement, and you are wasting them. Exactly, that's how you are wasting them, and that is how they are very limited. And if you are wasting it, so what will be the result? That at one point of time they are going to exhaust completely and you can't use them again. So the resources which are present in a very limited amount, and you have to think about it that how you should use them so that they are not going to exhaust, so these are called as the exhaustible resources. Fine. Now you can see here that exhaustible resources are further divided into two parts. One is the renewable and another one is the non-renewable. Now student, what is the renewable one? Renewable resources are those type of resources, student, which you can renew like in a small period of time. Small period of time. That these are the resources, yes, which are present in limited amount, but you can renew them so that you can use them again. Fine. For example, land. How what happens, student? Like the development is increasing, population is increasing day by day. So we have to build houses for them. We have to build offices. So that's how land is getting consumed. But at one point, if it is going to be like increasing day by day, so it will resulting into the consumption of land, and land is going to be exhaust. Exactly. But we can renew it. How? That we can remove buildings from there. We can do for afforestation. So that's how we are getting land again. Fine. So that's why we are calling it as renewable resource. Water. You'll say, ma'am, like earth is having abundant amount of water, so why you have kept it in inexhaustible? Because, students, the water which we are using, it is very less in amount. So that's why it is a very common topic which is going on right now, not from now only. It's like from last 10 years, that the amount of water, the fresh water level is decreasing day by day. That people consuming water like without any requirement. They are wasting water, polluting water. So that's how it is coming under the category of exhaustible one. That if you are doing this thing same for next 10 to 20 years, so definitely there will be the condition that you are not getting water, and if there is no water, so that's how you can't survive. So that's how, student, this is. But if the water can be get purified, so that is how you can use that water again. So that is why water is exhaustible, but it is also renewable. So same with living organisms. If like any species is getting exhaustible, but like if there are some of them, so you can again, like they can breed with each other, and that's how they can again give their offsprings, and there how you can see that the species can be like convert from the exhaustible one to the another type. Fine. So that's how, student, renewable resources are those type of resources which you can renew again, but they are the type of exhaustible only. Okay. Now if we talk about non-renewable one, so non-renewable resources are those type of resources, students, that which you can't renew again. That it take a long time, so that you have to make them again and you can reuse them. Okay. For example, coal and petroleum, student, it takes like 300 to 400 millions of years to form. If this much of time is required to form coal and petroleum, so you think like you can think now it's a point that the coal and petroleum is not here, and you have to make them again. Like you don't have any technique so that you can prepare them in laboratories. So what happened, like today it is getting exhaust, and if you try, you will not get it till the very next day or in the next 1 month or 2 months. You have to wait for 300 to 400 million of years. Will you be able to like wait for that much of time? Exactly, no, because human beings, like animals, plants, we don't survive for that long time. Exactly. So that's how, students, the resources which are present in very limited amount, and they are also that type that they are not getting formed very easily, so we call them as non renewable resources. Fine. So the examples are coal, petroleum, and minerals. So this is the natural resources classification, that the two types are inexhaustible, exhaustible. Inexhaustible, which is going to be like present for a long time, you can use them again and again, they are unlimited in nature. And the exhaustible is one that is going to be exhaust from the nature if you are using it very much, and that's how they are very limited in amount. Then exhaustible divided into two: renewable, non-renewable. That means which you can renew easily, and the non-renewable which you can't renew easily. Fine. Now you can see here that it is the inexhaustible natural resources. Inexhaustible natural resources, students, what do you mean by that? That those natural resources which are present in unlimited quantity in nature and are not likely to be exhausted by human activities, as we have already seen that thing, are called inexhaustible resources. They can be used again and again. Example: air, wind, sunlight, that which is going to be used up again and again. Now, exhaustible natural resources: any non-renewable resource such as minerals, non-mineral resources, and fossil fuels. Like fossil fuel, students, that the fuels which we are getting from the dead, like fossil means dead and decay of organism. Fine. Like living organisms, whether plant or animal. So that's how fossil fuels are coal and petroleum, and we are having a fixed amount of that in our environment. We can't use them in such a way that they are very limited and we are consuming it more and more, so that at one point they are getting exhaust from it, from the nature, and we are not able to use them again. So that is the exhaustible natural resources. So it's like that resources and the natural resources, man-made resources. Then we have seen the classification of natural resources. Fine. Now we will see that what questions we are having, because we have covered up all of the topics which we have to cover in today's class. Okay. Now we are going to see that describe how coil is formed from dead vegetation and what's the process called. So, student, the coil is getting formed from the dead and decay of the vegetation. That what happened, that when the dense forest got buried under the soil due to natural process, like maybe some disaster, maybe there any mishappening can occur at that point. So, what happened, that the dense forest got buried under the soil, and it's like a thing of millions of years ago. Exactly. So, due to that, student, what happened, like more and more soil got deposited over them and they got compressed. So due to the increase in the temperature and the pressure, what happened, that those vegetation slowly got converted into the coil under these extreme condition, and that's how, student, we are getting the coil from the dead vegetation. And this process, that the dead vegetation is converting into the coil under the extreme temperature and the pressure, that process is called as the carbonization process. Okay, carbonization process, because what happens, student, the human body is having more carbon content, and when that carbon content under the high pressure and temperature converting into the coil, so that whole carbon is getting converted into the coil form, so the coil is also having more content of carbon. That is why, student, whenever coil burnt in the presence of oxygen, so it produces carbon dioxide. That means it results into the combustion reaction along with heat and light. Fine. So that's how, student, carbon is there. That is why carbon reacting with oxygen forming carbon dioxide. So when the dense forests are present over a millions of years ago, and due to any natural process they buried under the soil, and it's just that by that passage of the time, that there is the more deposition of the soil over them, and they get compressed. And when this thing happens, so there is the high temperature and pressure, due to which that vegetation converts into the coil, and that process is called as the carbonization process. Fine. Okay, so we are having some filling the blanks. So what are the fossil fuels? As we have already seen, so the fossil fuels are coal, petroleum, that means the fuels which we are getting from the dead and decay of living organisms, so it is called petroleum, and natural gas. Process of separation of different constituent from petroleum is called, that process is called as, student, refining. That we refine petroleum and we get different products, and then we use them for different benefits, you can say. Least polluting fuel for vehicle is, so it is like CNG, students. If you know this thing, that petrol, due to the petrol there is a release of lots of smoke, so that's why, to remove that smoke from the air, so that the air will not get pollute, so that's why people start using compressed natural gas, that is the CNG, because we can say it is a kind of cleaner fuel. Okay, so these all are the answer for this question. And that with that we have completed our today's session, and it's your duty to watch this session carefully. And definitely, student, like after watching this session, you are having knowledge about resources, natural resources, exhaustible, inexhaustible, and then you can think about all such things, that what should you conserve more, what steps you can take so that you can conserve such resources which are exhaustible in nature. Exactly. Now what you have to do is, you have to watch this session carefully, and after watching, like if you are having any doubt, any question, you can post your question on public or. So till then, study well, and it's just that thank you so much for watching this video, and keep learning from Ask ITians. Thank you.